What's good, everybody? Welcome in to Coach and Company on Demand on a Saturday morning. It's going to be a big day in the world of college football as we are now. I mean, there's no more week one, week two. We know who these teams are, and now there's some big-time matchups. We're going to break down four of the biggest games and also add an upset special today. So I would encourage you to grab your paper, grab your pen, and get set. Now, joining me every single week right here, right now, is my guy from Sure Dog USA, but he's so much more than MMA. My man Mikey P is in the house. You look a little different today than you did on Friday.
Listen, I'm just happy I woke up on time. I think I went to Afterburn. Did you know you can't just walk out of the movie theater and walk right back in? And I was like, but wait, he was an official sponsor of Coaching Company. They were like, please get back in line and buy another ticket. And I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
And you're like, I didn't write down how many tanks he had either. How many tanks did they have in the meeting, in the
I
movie?
forgot. I didn't write it down.
Wow. I'm going to send you back over there. Another $11 ticket. All right. We got no time to waste. We never go longer than 10 to 15 minutes here on Saturday because you guys have a life and the game start in just a couple of hours. So let's start with the early game today at noon, 10 a.m. local time in Utah. It's a top 20 matchup. It's Texas Tech. It's Utah. Utah has looked amazing through the first few weeks. But Texas Tech has also what gives today.
Well, Texas Tech looking to be 4-0 for the first time since 2013. It doesn't matter because Devin Dampier is at quarterback for the Utes, and I absolutely love this kid. Coach, the problem with Dampier is he's going to fit the most easy narrative. Everyone's going to say Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson. No, this kid is a flat out baller. Don't sleep on his ability. And when you talk about the early kickoff, who wants it more? Who wants to put the Big 12 on the map? I think this is what this game comes down to. Whoever walks out of this game as the victor will be the team to watch for in the Big 12 champion, all of that.
And I tell you this, that if it was Utah against Scrub State, let's say, I think they would get off to a really, really slow start. And then they'd pick it up in the second half, and you'd bet this game in a different way. The fact that it's Texas Tech, the fact that it's a top 20 team, the fact that they're undefeated, the fact that it's a Big 12 game, the fact that Utah looks at their landscape and says, wait a second, maybe we can be the squad or be one of the two squads to make the playoffs this year out of the Big 12. I think that's motivation enough because when you back time it, if your game's at 10 o'clock local time, when I played college basketball, we'd always eat about 3.5 to 4 hours before game time. So football's kind of the same way. So the team meal is going to be around 6:30 a.m. local time. So it's going to take a little bit to get guys going, but I don't think motivation should be an issue at all.
No, and another thing is Texas Tech has not allowed a single point in the first half. Now you could look at the strength of opponents they've faced in these first few games, but if you're Utah and you have an early start, Coach, you just mentioned it. Most people would shy away from starting an early, pick here or betting the first half. I say watch it. I say watch the first quarter, and maybe we will see some second quarter bets coming in because again, Utah, you want to show people that you're awake for this game, you're awake for this matchup. I think we're going to see points put up early and often.
All right, that is game number 1, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. local. All right, let's go to game number 2. This is also a top 25 matchup. They're playing it in Norman, Oklahoma. A couple weeks ago, when OU welcomed Michigan, who at the time was top 20, they were dominant. Then they went to Temple, and they were dominant again, covering a 24.5-point spread. Auburn comes in also playing good football, but they're getting a full touchdown. The total at 46.5. Your thoughts?
I love the Sooners in this game. Before I break it down, Coach, as the greatest heel in WWE history, I'm going to just ask you a simple question. Do you love revenge? We
I
all
eat
love
it. I eat it for breakfast.
We all love revenge. Let me tell you a little couple things about this game. Even though I like Oklahoma, it's a revenge game through and through. Jackson Arnold, nearly 1 year ago to the day, was benched by the Sooners, and he's going back to Norman for this game. Also, John Mateer, the Oklahoma Sooners quarterback, and Jackson Arnold, oh yeah, they met in high school where Mateer had the better game. Arnold got the win. There is just revenge across the board in this game. Oh, and it's an SEC game. This place. Norman, Oklahoma is going to be on fire. I think the Sooners roll in this one.
It's interesting because every year you have a team or two that surprises you a little bit. And OU, I looked at their schedule. It's very easy to go, man, that's a murderer's row. How will they ever get through it? Instead of saying maybe they're good enough. Maybe this is a squad that when they're not part of the Georgia, Alabama's old misses, they're the new kids. They're the new squad. What's to say that the Sooners aren't a lot better than what we think and that they can kind of run the gauntlet, so to speak? And I think two SEC losses will still get a team in if things fall the right way. Maybe the Sooners are that team.
I have to completely agree, and I have to go back on my word and rewind the tape. When we did this show before the Oklahoma and Michigan game, I was all in on Bryce Underwood and the Wolverines, and the Sooners shut me up. So now I have to give respect where respect is due. And if you can knock off Michigan at home, knock off Auburn at home, I'm no longer doubting you. You've proved your point to me even this early in the season.
3:30 p.m. Eastern time is the start in Norman. 2:30 local time there. All right, let's go down to Florida. And you talk about a tough schedule. The Florida Gators are like their heads are spinning right now. They lose to South Florida late. Um, and then they lose at LSU nighttime, nothing better than the atmosphere in Baton Rouge. And then now they got to go to South Florida. They got to go to Miami. And Miami is a resurgent team now with Carson Beck, who people are saying should be the favorite right now for the Heisman Trophy. He's looked amazing. They absolutely laid South Florida on the table. And this is the same team Florida just lost to. This thing, in my opinion, could get ugly early and could be ugly late.
Yeah, I think the one thing we have to talk about is the rivalry between these two schools. Because if it does get ugly, look how bad Florida's season has started. You know, there's going to be players on that field who are going to be angry at Miami. They're going to be angry at themselves, the coaching staff. We've already seen a Gators player spit during a game this year. So I think Miami, for this game only, it comes down to two players for me. Carson Beck, you've mentioned him, Heisman favorite, or should be a Heisman favorite. He's completing 79% of his passes this year. And then Ruben Bain. He was injured last year when Miami rolled Florida, and he's back. I think these are two high quality NFL draft prospects who will show why they're part of a powerhouse program in Miami.
And by the way, I believe it's three, isn't it three players that are suspended for this game? And this shows how stupid these kids are because they tried to bow up at LSU last week and get in a pregame scuffle. And then when the SEC went back to look at the tape, they go, oh, that guy, and that guy did a little bit more than the rest of them. And they're out this week. How stupid would you feel if you're standing on the sidelines in street clothes against the number 4 team in the country because somebody came on your side of the field last week?
There's something we talk about a lot in sports and sports entertainment, sports broadcasting. That's personal pride. And you can have that without hurting everyone else around you. My favorite thing in college football that I think we've gone away from is the planting of the flag or, stepping on the logo. That builds rivalries. But when you are simply just trying to have the biggest ego on a football field, please head to the locker room with your head down. I don't want you on my program. I don't want you on my team. I believe we've seen several coaches on the sideline. I forget the game that it was last week where the coach said, he's done, he's out because the player continued to make mistakes. It's just one of those things where self pride can't get in your way of team pride and pride for the program.
If I have to see coaches do this anymore this season, be smart. Kirby Smart last week. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's like I watched Mike McDaniel last night with the Dolphins when they roughed the kicker in a tie ball game, and that led to the go-ahead touchdown. You're like, what are you doing? What are we? We're 0-2. We cannot make that mistake. Mike McDaniel could not have gotten to the locker room faster last night after the game. Oh, he was pissed. And he had every right to be pissed. He called a pretty good game. Game number 4. And these are just the biggest games according to us. I'm sure there's a lot of games out there that you guys are interested in, but to me, this is a rubber meets the road matchup. Illinois could be a paper top 10 team, meaning they look the part on paper, maybe not so much on the field. It's a big time matchup because they're getting 6 points, but yet they're the top 10 team, and Indiana is ranked number 19 currently. Should this number be flipped, or is it right where it needs to be?
I think it's right where it needs to be because Illinois has escaped early this year from some very close games. I think Indiana is still a darling from last season. But then I'll flip that narrative, coach, and I'll say I like Illinois at +6 because who's not to say they don't become the darlings that
Mhm.
Indiana was for the Big Ten last year? Luke Altmaier's been on fire this year. I believe it's 9 touchdowns, no interceptions, just over 700 yards. Mendoza's 700 yards, 10 touchdowns, no interceptions. So quarterback battle. And we know how this goes. We've seen it in every sport possible. When there's two high powered offenses, what takes the cake? What steals the spotlight? The defense. And I trust the Illini's defense more than I do Indiana's. So I look for Illinois at this +6. I'm not ready to crown them on the money line here, but at the +6, I definitely like the Fighting Illini.
All right, a couple of other games that I just have my eye on. I want to throw out there for people. If you're looking for a team that can cover a big spread, number 6 Oregon taking on Oregon State. Oregon State might be the best big Division 1 game, Division 1 team in football. They're terrible. This could be 60-0 or 70. It could be. I don't know what the spread is, but it's not over 50. I know that. If it was, I'm just going to throw a number out. If it's 35 or less, I would take it. That's how bad they are. That's
Yeah.
how bad they are. I also like Vandy. Vandy sneaking into the top 25. They're at number 20. They're taking on Georgia State. They're a team that laid South Carolina out. So keep your eye on Vanderbilt as well. And then Texas taking on Sam Houston State. Sam Houston State must feel like a punching bag because they've had home games. They had to go to Hawaii, and now they're taking on a Texas team at number 8, who all they've heard the last 2 weeks is, man, Arch Manning, he's overrated. What's wrong with his arm? Why is he wincing when he throws a hard pass? I don't know the answer to that, but I know that Saturday, Mikey, Texas needs to take out some frustrations on some people.
They absolutely do. But coach, you buried the lead. And I'll never
Who's
tell
that?
you how to drive this ship, but you mentioned Vandy. Diego Pavia. Did you hear how he stole the spotlight, not only beating the Gamecocks, but because they beat the Gamecocks, he was going to allow superstar comedian Theo Von a date with his mother. I kid.
Theo Vaughn, the guy that sits there and does the interviews with. I love Theo Vaughn.
Yeah, Theo
He's
Von
gonna
is
date
now
his. Is his
Pavia's
mom?
mom.
Is she a baddie?
She's
Is she
quite
a
the
baddie?
looker. And they asked him on the broadcast of the game last weekend. Theo Von was sitting on the Vandy sidelines, and the ESPN commentator goes, "Hey, I'm sorry, just real quick, you could just nod your head, yes. But is it true if Vandy wins this game, you could get a date with Diego Pavia's mom?" And he goes, "Yes."
I didn't know that. That's the kind of stuff that I love.
I
Oh,
love
I
it
love
too.
that stuff. Now, the first thing I'm gonna do when we're done here is go look up Bobby's mom. Oh my God, what is my life? What is my life? Thank you, Mikey. I'm blaming you. I'm blaming you. All right. Before we get out of here, we always do an upset special. What game are you going to today for that?
Speaking of Vandy, they knocked off South Carolina last week, and now South Carolina has to head to Columbia to take on Mizzou. A Mizzou minus 9.5. I like the plus 9.5. I'm not going to go all high pitched and talk about how Georgia Tech beat Clemson. I'm just going to tell you this: Lenore Sellers was one of the top Heisman candidates coming into this season. He was injured in that game against Vandy. He's back for this game. He is absolutely the biggest difference maker on the football field between both of these teams. So plus 9.5 seems way too high. I would smash the Gamecocks on this one.
All right, very, very good. That's a nighttime game in Columbia. I can tell you, Mikey, I was only in local TV for. I know you are from Missouri as well. I was in local TV maybe a little less than a year in Wichita, and then 8 months in Kansas City. There's nothing, but both of those years were football seasons. So going to Columbia on I-70, getting off, driving 2 miles south, the atmosphere for a nighttime game at Missouri is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So I'll be tuned into that one tonight. Real quick, tonight's also the launch of Wrestlepalooza, the very first WWE show on the ESPN app. Are you going to be tuning in to South Carolina and Missouri or Wrestlepalooza?
Both. Thankfully, I have enough screens in my office to be able to pull off both. I'm very, very interested. Coach, as I've said to you multiple times, both on air and off air, you were one of the first people to really want to get me involved into sports broadcasting. So to see the best of both worlds come together on ESPN, I'm very, very interested. You know better than everyone how back in the day, it was a WWE on one side and ESPN on the other. I know a guy who may have bridged the gap between those two sides. So I'm very interested to see how Wrestlepalooza does on ESPN.
I've been in my feelings a lot the last month or so because we went through a lot of not so nice meetings, not so nice times. I am the only person walking God's green earth that has spent over a decade at both places. So I'm very proud of that. Now, how does it work when they're literally on their air? Because we were just like on Sports Center. We just took Sports Center to WrestleMania. This is like a legit partnership. We'll see. We'll support it, whether it's on Coach and Bro or whether it's on Off the Ropes on Sirius XM or right here on Coaching Company as well. Mikey, well done. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Yes?
Yes, sir. I
All
can't
right.
wait.
All right, that's going to do it for now. Enjoy your college football today. Enjoy whatever else you're going to be doing with the family. For Mikey, for producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you live tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, breaking down everything in the National Football League. I'm the coach. We'll see you then.